Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Tuesday, July the 8th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
From extreme heat to thunderstorms, it hasn't been the ideal start to July for many residents in the capital.
If it's not raining, then it's too hot. If it's too hot, it's just pouring rain, so it's really tough to find that happy medium.
The inconsistent weather also means fewer patio goers at some restaurants.
It's just so hard to predict that, you have days where they're calling for rain all day and then it ends up being actually half decent. But, people have already kind of made their plans based on the forecast.
After a weekend of hot and muggy weather, intermittent downpours on Monday as storms moved across the region, and more rain is in the forecast this week.
Every year is going to be different. Some years we get a high pressure system. That's what helps inhibit that rainfall as much as possible. So we haven't had a long stretch of that high pressure keeping those thunderstorms at bay for the Ottawa area.
According to Environment Canada, summer weather is harder to predict, with moisture on humid days the leading cause of pop-up thunderstorms.
We can have one or two or more days of these really high temperatures, really high humidity. And then once a new air mass is able to make its way through, that's what helps trigger those thunderstorms, giving those torrential downpours.
But for some, the rain has its perks.
I'm saving on watering my garden. My water bills will be less.
At the King Eddie, they're optimistic about the rest of patio season.
What we've seen is that summer tends to really extend into September, October these days. So hopefully on that end of the summer, we'll have more patio days than we did so far.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Russell Bowie's passion for golf has led to serious success. Bowie is hard of hearing and has been wearing hearing aids since he was a toddler. He's also the current world deaf golf champion and was a silver medalist at the last Deaflympics in Brazil.
It was an amazing experience, and finishing on a podium and doing well and was just it was something I'll never forget. But obviously this time there's one better spot to get.
The next Deaflympics are in November, and this time Bowie hopes to bring home gold. But those dreams could be over for him and close to 50 other hard of hearing and deaf athletes set to travel for the competition if the Canadian Deaf Sports Association doesn't raise enough money.
It would just be a big loss mentally, emotionally, and also just a lot of money has been spent preparing up to this point as well. So to have all that just go away and nothing to show for it would be a shame.
The association says it's trying to raise $100,000, but so far only has $30,000. While Canada has been sending athletes to the Deaflympics since the 1960s, it says the cost of living has risen significantly and traveling to Japan is very expensive. And it's calling on Canadians to help send this year's contingent.
And now the recent development of, maybe a funding shortfall is definitely not something you wanted to be thinking about.
Bowie says there's been a lot of excitement to represent Canada in Japan, and he and other athletes will be devastated if they can't go.
Just a really neat, cool, enriching opportunity that, for all of us going, it's something that, we love doing, and we do everything we can to be a part of these competitions.
Beth Macdonell, CTV News.
From boomwhackers to bass clarinet, band camp has something for everyone.
You can play all the instruments you want.
The camp is run by Bandology, a not-for-profit group with a focus on music education and development.
We have kids from grade 1 to grade 12. So the younger kids do a whole variety of music activities while the teenagers form a band, and they'll have a concert at the end of the week.
The program features a wide range of talent.
For our older kids, the teenagers, they're part of a band. So what they're doing is they're bringing in the instrument they've played this past year at school. But the little kids, they can come in with no experience whatsoever.
It's Felix Fang's second year at camp. The 9-year-old band member plays the euphonium.
It's like a tuba, but a bit smaller.
It's not the only unique instrument in the ensemble. While Rafaela Debro Silva typically plays the piano, she decided to try her hand at the glockenspiel.
It's really similar because they're both keys, so you're hitting the keys.
The younger group hits the scales, literally.
3, 2, 1, purple. 3, 2, 1, pink. 3, 2, 1, violet.
It's really fun. I like the percussion.
All building up to Friday's grand finale.
We'll have a couple of different types of performances. So our teenage band is working on 4 or 5 different pieces. In fact, one of them is a brand new composition.
And whether the kids are new or have been coming to camp for a couple years, they all share a similar note to those at home.
It's really fun, and you should really come.
Go for it. Just be prepared to play a lot of music.
After this week, band camp takes its musical stylings to Halton before rounding out the summer in Guelph during the last week of July. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Kitchener.
For Jean Kraszewski, this is more than just a treatment, it's a chance to keep fighting.
Many men right now who are waiting for this treatment, desperately needing it now, are going to be able to get this treatment.
After years of advocacy, the Quebec government will now reimburse Pluvicto. The drug can extend life with little to no side effects. Kraszewski was diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer in 2015 at the age of 55. He's been through 33 rounds of radiotherapy and multiple hormone treatments.
Now this treatment seems to be losing its effectiveness.
Pluvicto doesn't cure prostate cancer, but it gives patients new hope when other options run out. Dr. Frédéric Arsenault with the Canadian Association of Nuclear Medicine says this new access is a major milestone.
This treatment fills this gap. It prolongs the life of the patient with better quality of life and less or almost no side effect.
Pluvicto uses radiation to target cells that express a protein called PSA. Clinical results show a 50% drop in PSA levels. Kraszewski helped push for public coverage, launching an online petition that gathered nearly 12,000 signatures. He says other treatments take a heavy toll on patients like him.
Your sex life is completely changed. You lose muscle mass, you lose strength, it weakens the body.
To stay strong, he keeps training in martial arts, something he's done for decades. He's hoping to qualify for Pluvicto, a treatment that could change everything. The drug directly targets cancer cells, reducing damage to healthy tissue. Dr. Arsenault believes this could be just the beginning.
There may be 200 molecules under study, to a breast cancer, to a gastric cancer, hepatic and pancreatic cancer.
And that's just to name a few. Before the drug was covered, treatment cost patients up to $27,000 per dose, with 6 doses needed in total. For Kraszewski and his family, the news in Quebec hit hard in the best way.
It's difficult enough to live with cancer and all the repercussions involved, but to have to, at the same time, fight for new treatment to be made available by government, it was exhausting.
Less than 10% of men with metastatic prostate cancer survive past 5 years. The hope is this could tip the odds. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
The pandemic is fading, but its impacts are proving to be long-lasting, particularly when it comes to the underdeveloped social skills of Gen Z, as the expectation to move from online to in-person became a reality.
Did you struggle with the social skills once everything returned back to normal?
Yes, I struggled a little bit. Even though I knew people before, it was strange to come and talk to them.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Simon Sherry says the effects felt by Gen Z, people born between 1997 and 2012, have much to do with the restrictions that were in place during COVID.
They were exposed to prolonged remote learning. On top of that, they're a generation very much involved in screens, which doesn't promote your social and emotional competencies in real time.
As a result, etiquette specialist Julie Blake-Homo says important soft skills like a strong handshake were never taught or adapted. Same thing goes for social skills outside the workplace.
Dining etiquette, a lot of them find themselves at a power business lunch or breakfast or dinner, and they're paralyzed because they don't know, is that my bread plate? Is it okay to clink wine glasses? How do I say no if I don't want to have a drink?
So how can you tell if you may be in need of workplace etiquette?
If after an event, a meeting, you're constantly thinking back, oh, yeah, that wasn't great, eh? I wish I would have known better. I wish I would do better.
Como says her Gen Z clients have expressed a willingness to learn.
I do believe that the soft skills, that the etiquette will help all, not only Gen Z employees, but all of us live happily at work.
It's going to be difficult and a little stressing, but the more we'll do it, the more it's going to be easy and normal to us.
Some last-minute dinner pickups for Becca Hollier of Coldwater. Today she's at a local farm looking for fresh and affordable.
For me, I like to know where my food comes from, and I know that they keep everything super local here. So I know what's been around my food. I know who's been around my food.
It's been a challenging year for local farmers. A cooler than normal start to the season posed challenges for things like strawberries.
It's been a tricky one this year so far. We had a cold, wet spring, and then it got hot right after that, hot and dry right after that.
With corn on deck, farmers say the recent heat has helped turn things around. Calder Murphy in Alliston says he's fortunate he plants on plastic, and that has allowed his crops to stay insulated during the cooler months.
So it actually looks like a good cob. It looks like this patch is going to be ready in probably a week to a week and a half, and it's looking good.
Over at Hewitt's Farm in Severn Township, corn is a little bit behind schedule, but that could change quickly with the perfect conditions. Up next are pumpkins and squash.
Between our earliest start date and our latest start date is probably 3 weeks, which is a big difference. This year, I want to say we're probably a week behind at this point. If we keep getting like that 30, 35 degree weather, then we could catch up.
I know that nobody can control the weather, but I know that these guys do whatever they can to make sure that we get a good harvest, so I appreciate it.
Now, the farmers I spoke with today say the best recipe for corn right now, more hot days and just enough rain to go with it. They expect to have corn on your dinner table in the coming weeks. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Barrie.
But the weekly trend is on a decrease.
Friends heading overseas recently asked mathematical epidemiologist Chapin Korosek whether it was medically safe for their young family to travel to a certain part of Europe amidst a measles outbreak. He crunched the numbers and sent them a one-page outline with the most current disease outlook, and then he started thinking.
Maybe a lot of people would like this hyper-local, active information for disease trends in their region, and then that was the spark that led to this idea.
6 months later, countless hours and $3,000 later, Korosek, his wife Alexandra Casper, and Michael Daly, all from Goderich, launched Episense.ca, a web-based app that essentially is a weather app for illness tracking, allowing people to see what the disease trends are in their specific area of the province.
We saw a lot of this during the COVID outbreak. There was lots of information available, but it's not easy to digest or understand as an everyday person. So with Episense.ca, what we're trying to do is make that information accessible and easy to digest, just like a weather forecast.
You don't want to get sucked into deep analysis. You don't want to get sucked into reading 10 different sources. So the vision is really, you can wake up, you can check your Episense.ca app and just see what is the real risk out there.
Right now, Episense.ca is tracking measles, COVID, RSV, influenza A and B, and rhinovirus. Users input the first 3 letters of their postal code and they get a dashboard with the current status of those illnesses and which way those illnesses are trending. A Lyme disease tick tracker is under development, as well as an Ontario map with hotspots. Korosek says they're using largely public health data along with a self-reporting tool to try and have the most accurate and understandable health data available to their users.
If we can capture really severe epidemiological trends as they're happening and even get a few days lead time countrywide, then that would be a really valuable thing for society.
While the current focus of Episense is tracking health data in Ontario, the next goal would be moving on to BC and possibly across the country.
It's a solution designed by Canadians for Canadians to make them help make better decisions about their health.
It's really to be that disease decision-making tool so that you can keep your family safe.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
So good. For the last 16 years, Marcy Grandmond and her granddaughter Maddie venture out into the fields, snagging up as much juicy strawberries as they can carry.
They have the best berries by far, and it's always a fun time. This year I want to teach her some
old traditions of making jams and preserves.
They're not the only ones. Leisure Farm's 4 strawberry fields have been full, where pickers are looking for the most plump, red, and tasty berries.
Look at these strawberries. I mean, they're beautiful. That's why we come out. They're nice and fresh. Can't get any fresher than that.
While a few other farms in southern Ontario struggled at the beginning of the season with inconsistent weather, Leisure Farms is off to a fast start. The season kicked off at the end of June.
He wants a strawberry pie, so we'll be having a strawberry pie. And then I'll also be freezing a basket as well so that we can enjoy them in the winter.
While there is no perfect formula to get the best strawberries, there's been just enough cooler weather with steady breezes, which stops them from ripening too quickly.
We pick what we get, and but I do tell people that don't wait till the very last day of strawberry picking.
The 4 weeks of strawberry picking are usually one of the busiest times of the year for Leisure Farms, where people don't mind paying a few extra dollars for the freshest berries around.
Well, my mom likes to make some jam every year, so we pick that and for eating and maybe some desserts.
The total average is actually better than most years. There's more and more people that are doing preserves now, so which I think is awesome.
Which means this hot commodity might be the perfect ingredient for a sweet summer treat.
So we can get more strawberries.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
Most teams would admit defeat when falling down 5 runs in the first inning of a baseball game. But if you've been following the Berries this season, you knew they wouldn't give up Sunday against the Regina Red Sox.
Yesterday we were down early, and Dallin did a good job calming everything down on the mound, and our bullpen did a good job, and we were able to have a big inning. And that's just the biggest thing with this group. They just keep playing no matter what the score is.
While the Berries went on to win 7-5, it's one of many examples of the team's resilience this season.
I think as a team we really came together when we walked off against Moose Jaw just last week. We had a big outing from a guy who hadn't pitched in a bit, and the bats came hot at the right time.
The roster is deep at every position, meaning players have to be versatile to get in the lineup. It also gives Coach Carnahan, a 2-time league MVP himself, a chance to keep players fresh by not leaning on any one player too much.
We have a good group, so they hold each other accountable, and they just love playing the game of baseball, and they love being around each other. And we've just been fortunate with this group for them to be able to gel pretty early and just enjoy one another and being around one another.
With 26 wins in a 56-game schedule, the Berries are flirting with a WCBL single-season record for most regular season victories. That high bar is set at 44 wins by the 2024 Sylvan Lake Gulls, but the team isn't focused on the results.
No, I wouldn't say we're worried about that. We just take it one game at a time and win.
And whether they're in the lineup or not, the players say word travels fast about how fun it is to be at the park on game day.
Oh, the crowds are fantastic. Couldn't get any better. The games are good. The weather's been great for us, so yeah, no complaints.
100%. That's like the best part about coming here and playing is the fans. Like, you get great crowds here in Saskatoon and just a lot of family and home guys coming out to support the team. It's great.
After the rain Sunday night, the grounds crew was busy getting the field in shape. The Berries are back in action for a 2-game homestand against the Moose Jaw Miller Express. John Flatters, CTV News, Saskatoon.
8 teams are competing for the title of Men's Softball World Champion at the World Baseball Softball Confederation World Cup Finals, which kick off Tuesday at Prime Minister's Park. Canada won silver at the previous event in 2022.
22 hurt a lot. Being so close, we get so far. So usually our motto is how we steer our ship. If you're not first, you're last. So we're here for one goal, and that is to come back out on top. But it is nice to be back in our own country, so hopefully we can get to that game.
Team Canada, ranked 4th in the world, will play in Group A alongside world number 1 Argentina, 5th-ranked Venezuela, and the 8th-ranked New Zealand.
We're very excited with the 16 athletes that we've chosen. We're fully prepared. We had a good prep tournament with the 4 nations last weekend, so we expect every game to be a dogfight and right down to the last inning.
Chair of the local organizing committee, Ian Litzenberger, says a moment over 10 years in the making has finally arrived.
It's been a decade, right? And so many of us have put in the time right from the start. And to see and to think that first pitch is tomorrow at 11:30 is just, as I mentioned earlier, just so humbling. At the end of the day, we get to watch some amazing ball, but we get to leave a legacy for this community.
2 Saskatchewan-born players will be representing Canada this week. Saskatoon's Devin McCullough and Delisle's Max Major. Canada plays its first game Tuesday evening at 8:30 against New Zealand. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Need some popcorn, don't we? Matt Intihar and Sheila Guevara are spending some quality time relaxing together. The couple often spends their time in a more unique way by making gingerbread houses.
Both of us inspired each other in doing a project because he's good at what I am not.
The pair was in a local bake shop when they saw a gingerbread castle built by the baker.
We thought, geez, that would be pretty neat if we could build something like that. I don't know if we're up to it, but we could give it a try.
Their first house was simple, so they decided to go bigger. At first, they planned to build a replica of the White House. They ultimately selected the Alberta legislature as their subject, close to home and easier to research in person.
As time went on, we thought, hey, we can do this or we could add that on, and so slowly it became a bit more detailed as time went on.
Intihar and Guevara worked on their ginger ledge together and separately when their shift work schedules didn't allow for time together.
He come home, I'm sleeping, or I come home, he's sleeping. But I see, when I come home, I see something that he did. I'm like, oh, cool, I can do this.
After 6 months of gingerbread and marzipan, plus painstaking research, baking, sculpting, and resculpting, this is the result.
We managed to finish it, and we're pretty happy with how it looks. I mean, like I say, we're not professional bakers or anything.
I could have not done it by myself.
The happy couple are in the process of finding a place to display their work and also sharing what they learned about each other in the process.
He sits right there and he's just doing this little thing and little thing. It's kind of, looking at him, it's very heartwarming, and he's very graceful doing that, and it makes me push myself harder too.
I guess this kind of thing could pull people apart. Maybe they'd get fed up with each other, but I think for us it did. I think it did bring us together.
Yeah.
2 people who have found extra sweetness in their lives together. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
AI is officially getting scary.
On TikTok, there's been plenty of buzz.
This is Velvet Sundown.
About the band, which is adding hundreds of thousands of listeners daily on Spotify.
Dust on the wind, boots on the ground.
Checking out songs AI generated, released by a supposed group called the Velvet Sundown, which very little is known about. And even if it's AI, many we played the music for were impressed.
I would say definitely if you put it on the radio, it would chart.
If you just told me and you didn't tell me that was AI, I probably wouldn't have known.
There are what appear to be AI-generated pictures of the group.
Are you sure we're not real?
Which has put out 2 albums and first flagged as suspicious by users on Reddit.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's no better or no worse than probably thousands of songs that come my way.
The attention it's getting intensifying the debate over whether AI music should be clearly labeled as such, something Spotify and many other streamers don't do.
It's basically the Wild West across Spotify because you can post content and you're not required to let anyone know that it is in fact AI generated.
Music streaming service Deezer uses a tool to detect AI songs. As of April, it said 18% of all music uploaded, that's 20,000 songs a day, are entirely AI generated.
That company recently started flagging AI music to its listeners. The CEO writing, AI is not inherently good or bad, but we believe a responsible and transparent approach is key to building trust with our users and the music industry.
Do you think they should label this stuff as AI?
I definitely think they should label it. I feel like some people just don't want to listen to AI content or see that.
But some aren't all that fussed about labeling.
I would listen to it anyway, even if it's AI, because good music's good music.
And no matter your views, it is another noteworthy AI moment. John Benavelli Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.